Type is comprised of multiple characteristics that are not only psychological and biological, but sociological too. There are four pillars from which type can be derived from: geographical proximity, degree of similarity, physical appearance, and personality traits. For instance, we will be more likely to develop a relationship with people that are in close physical proximity to us. Bozard's research findings concluded that about 12% of the couples were already living at the same address, suggesting cohabitation before marriage, and that just over 4% lived at the same block but not the same address. About 23% lived within 2 blocks of each other, and about a third of all couples lived within 5 blocks of their spouses. Bozard's research provides a connection between how proximity affects mate selection, and in this case, in long-term mating. The conclusion he could draw from this data was that as distance between couples increased, the number of marriages decreased. Proximity works in conjunction with familiarity to influence who we choose to like. The theory of mere exposure effect explains a psychological phenomenon in which people prefer some things to others just because they are more familiar. In one study, female students were asked to participate in an experiment judging their sense of taste. The students entered into a series of booths in pairs to rate the tastes of different liquids. The schedule was set up to ensure that 2 participants would share the same booth either once, twice, 5 times, 10 times, or not at all. When the experiment concluded, the students were asked to rate how much they liked the other participants. The results showed that the more frequently a woman had been in the same booth with another participant, the higher the rating she gave. But the mere exposure effect tends to work with relatively neutral stimuli. So while it can help spark initial attraction, familiarity to negative stimuli, such as repeated exposure to a partner's annoying habits, will not make an individual like you more. Therefore, familiarity is better used as a determinant of initial attraction rather than an already established relationship. This phenomenon has also been explored to prove that it affects our perception of other people. One study had participants view photographs of men who were smiling slightly and asked them to rate the photographs on several factors: how far apart their eyes were, how round their faces were, etc. In the next round of the study, the participants were given a combination of new photographs along with some of the same faces. This time, they were asked to rate how happy the men's facial expressions were. Although the photographs showed no differences in the degrees to which the men in the photographs were smiling, the participants consistently rated the familiar faces as happier than the new faces. The behaviors studied in these experiments do show that we react more positively towards stimuli that is familiar to us. Similarity can extend into a multitude of categories such as looks, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, etc. Evolutionary biologists Peter Bouston and Stephen Emlin found that young men and women perceive themselves as particular types of partners and then seek out mates who share the same traits. For example, a woman who has a trust fund will seek out a mate from the upper class, and a man who deems himself handsome searches for a beautiful woman. This belief is also present in family attitudes, sense of humor, and social and political values. Studies also have shown that people rate their first interactions with others as more pleasant when their personalities are similar. Often, similarity is argued that it is an evolutionary and biological component of an individual's type. Helen Fisher notes that the human propensity to be drawn to someone like yourself is called positive assertive mating, or fitness matching. To summarize, Interpersonal attraction is a very complicated psychological, sociological, and biological subject. There is a plethora of indicators of attraction that have been researched through countless studies that have inspired evolutionary biologists and psychologists. So, if you are ever turned down by someone because you aren't their type, know that this is often not an excuse and that type is actually a real thing. If this be the case, then rejection cannot be taken personally at all because there are predestined reasons why someone may not be into you. This is out of your control.